Live from KSAT12, the news at 5:30 starts right now.
We begin with an update to a story we first brought you yesterday on the Night Beat.
The man who police say was struck by two vehicles on the south side has died.
Little information is known about the victim, but we do know he is in his 50s. The incident happened Saturday around 9 p.m. at a crosswalk at the intersection of Pleasanton Road and Division Avenue. Police say he was crossing when he was hit by a truck and then a second vehicle. The drivers will not face any charges. They both stopped to help him.
Meanwhile, a homeless man is in critical condition tonight after being shot by a suspect who tried to steal his bike. The shooting happened just before 11 p.m. on Saturday on North Brazos Street and Kaufman Court, that's near downtown. Police say the suspect shot the victim 5 times and then fled the scene, but he was eventually taken into custody. He will now face at least one charge of aggravated assault.
51-year-old Roland Aleman is in police custody for allegedly holding a knife to a family member's throat. The arrest affidavit states the incident happened back in September. The family member told police Aleman was living with her until they got into an argument. She put his belongings outside and kicked him out. The victim says Aleman took a knife to her throat and threatened to burn the house down. Aleman is now facing an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. The critical blood shortage in South Texas continues. Representatives with the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center say they are still only one major trauma incident away from depleting their blood supply. KSAT12's Sarah Costa tells us how you can help.
That's scary. I mean, it really is.
Jason Nidegger donates blood regularly and says it's terrifying with how low the supply level got this week. The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center and University Hospital put out an emergency call for donations this week.
At University Hospital, we are critically low at this point. If we continue to go down, then we'll have to think about canceling elective surgeries.
Mary Ulig with the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center calls what caused the shortage a perfect storm. Ulig says the holiday season always is a difficult time to get donations, so blood supply was already running low.
At the same time, we've had a series, an unusual series of trauma situations in our local hospitals that have used large supplies of blood, really depleting our supply.
Earlier this week on Tuesday, there was a plea put out to the community that there was an urgent need for blood at a critically low supply level. They had the goal of getting 2,160 donations by Saturday. However, they fell short of that goal by 100 donations.
Ulig says if one major trauma situation occurs, it could deplete the current blood supply. It's why the organization opened all 7 of its donor rooms as early as 7:30 Sunday morning. Jason Nidegger, who donates every 8 weeks, says it's important to do your part because you'll never know when you'll be on the receiving end of those donations.
You're putting into your community. We live in a community. We live as one organism. So that means it's a give and take situation. Sometimes you're going to need it. Other times other people are going to need it. And everybody needs to be giving whatever they can.
Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
And KSAT is doing its part and has teamed up with our community partner, University Health System, for National Blood Donor Month. The annual KSAT Community Blood Drive with University Health System will be taking place January 27th through the 31st at 3 different University Health System locations. You can find those locations and schedule a time to donate by heading to our website, KSAT.com.
It was a chaotic scene in Dallas last night. A teen now in the hospital after being shot at a high school basketball game. The gunfire erupting around 9 p.m. Police say the 18-year-old victim had to undergo surgery and is still in critical condition. A Dallas ISD officer also transported to the hospital after her back was grazed by some shrapnel during the shooting. She is expected to be okay. Investigators say 2 teens who were not from the school got into a physical fight before one pulled out a gun and allegedly shot the other. The shooter has not been arrested.
The Lubbock community got to show their respects to a fallen firefighter and police officer this morning during a procession headed to Fort Worth. Firefighter David Hill and Officer Nicholas Reyna both died while responding to a crash yesterday morning during hazardous road conditions. First responders were called into a single vehicle rollover. That's when a vehicle crossed the median and hit 3 first responders. Another firefighter is still in the hospital but is expected to survive.
Iranians angry over their government's accidental shooting down of a passenger plane, taking to the streets in protest. President Donald Trump offering his support to the citizens of Iran, but the president not finding support here at home. with a new poll showing more than half of Americans disapprove of his handling of the situation. Protesters taking to the streets in Iran, shouting anti-government slogans following the Revolutionary Guard's admission that it accidentally shot down that Ukrainian passenger plane, killing all 176 people on board. President Donald Trump tweeting directly to the Iranian people in both Farsi and English, quote, "My administration will continue to stand with you. We are following your protests closely and are inspired by your courage." Here at home, a new ABC News poll found 56% of Americans disapprove of the president's handling of the Iran situation, 43% approve. Only 25% of those surveyed report feeling safer following the U.S. strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. 52% reported feeling less safe. The Trump administration insists the killing of Soleimani stopped a planned attack against Americans. Defense Secretary Mark Esper was asked on CBS News' Face the Nation if there was specific evidence of an imminent threat.
I didn't see one with regard to 4 embassies. What I'm saying is I share the president's view that probably my expectation was they were going to go after our embassies.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi telling ABC this week she doesn't think the Trump administration is being straight with Americans about the reason for taking out Soleimani and doesn't buy their reasoning for not notifying congressional leaders in advance.
We had to keep it close because we didn't want it to get out. What you're saying is you don't trust the Congress of the United States.
Last week, the House voted in favor of a war powers resolution meant to limit the president's military action towards Iran. As the tensions escalate there, a similar resolution could now be introduced in the Senate.
New tonight, a KSAT Defenders investigative special called Broken Blue is airing tonight at 9 p.m. The defenders are digging into misconduct and disciplinary procedures within the San Antonio Police Department. Data obtained shows officers were granted a reinstatement after being fired 67% of the time in the last decade. The Broken Blue special airs tonight right here on KSAT at 9 p.m.